Alex Ansary here. It is April 7th in the year 2024. I am going to be sharing with you the latest prediction of mine to come true. So it looks like an Afghan, of all groups, it wasn't enough for Russia to kill 3 million Afghans. It wasn't enough for the United States to kill millions of Afghans, but only count 100,000 because they're not considered human. It's not enough to do what you've done already. It's not enough to leave Alex Ansary, the only Afghan you've ever known in the truth movement, in the gutter, listening to voices in the head that he must really be bad, like the others say. I told you this was coming. They're not blaming blacks or whites or Latinos on the world's problems. You're full of fucking crap, and you're no good. If you think that's the case, even though there is anti-white racism, the big-time enemy that they have made to the minds of many people of many racial groups is the Afghan. Anyone that may admit they're part Afghan is not going to live a good life. And if they talk about how they're not living a good life, their life could be destroyed because they're perceived to be anti-white for trying to assert their own value. I just had a very intense experience with black supremacy. And the more black supremacy I experience here, the angrier I become at you, the fact that I even live here. The angrier and angrier I become at you for not even sending your condolences. You'll send your donations. You'll do this. I'm your private dancer. Dancer for money. Upload when you want me to. Give you content that you love. But when it comes to the soul, no, we're actually soulless. Don't act like you're about to be able to take on the devil of this world. If your soul voltage is weak, boy, if you can't bench on a basic level emotionally and handle someone else's real lived experience, when it's the only fucker out of 8 billion, not million. I make the Bruce Nagel dyslexia slip when I go fast on the podcast. Folks, billion with the B. That's B for bastards. That's B for Bubba. Very unique. The code name for Mr. Peterson, who passed away several years ago. So, my mother's out of my life, right? My dad's out of my life. So many of you are out of my life. So many of the women are out of my life that we're here to... This eclipse is fucking changing us, folks. And that black woman was totally out of line for flipping out on me when I sit there and I say, my hand is sprained. How long is it going to take to get seen? And then she's like looking at me with that psychopathic look, like analyzing me, like I might be a threat, going almost like she's afraid of me. And I know psychically what's going on. They're afraid of my auric field. And you people don't even know what I'm talking about. None of you that are spiritual women have said a word to me in weeks. Weeks. Okay? Something is foul right now. Okay? What have I done in recent weeks? I talked about World War III. I predicted things that came true on national radio. And I talked about the sun. Then Clyde Lewis realized that I was talking about the sun and unrest. And he came out with a post after like lots and lots. And I even had a dream of Alex Jones listening to me and just giving me a thumbs up and smiling, which might be psychosis. But crazier things have happened. At one point, he did give me kudos. He has his reasons for keeping his distance. But there's aspects of me that Jones appreciates, which is the truth. I just don't talk about it. And I don't really care. Because I don't want to come down to his level, to be honest with you. And my mom's not right about a lot, but she is right about one thing. Thank God, son, that you never got hired at InfoWars. She said a lot of dumb things in her life that are above and beyond, like supernaturally dumb. But that one was the nail on the head. And so when she's snapping at me, this black supremacist, basically, she's snapping at me, she's looking at me, and she's basically like, why would I say that? Well, when I walk in, she's talking to a couple black ladies, like real friendly, and they make me feel invisible for 5 minutes. I just want to ask a question. And the other guy, he doesn't even look up at me, but a woman comes up in, I'm trying to be polite, I'm standing behind the black people, you know, knowing my place and stuff, back of the line, back of the bus, you, front of the bus, me, back of the bus. And then another woman comes in and she just goes around me and goes to the other line and goes like, hi, how are you? The man looks up, hi, how are you? Me, I was invisible. There's another guy out there who's going through his own trauma. His name's Gypsy. Please send Gypsy Fox some prayers. Watch his channel. Be a man. I know W, you went over. All right, at least you went over and you said drink some raw milk. But why were you the only one? None of you went over to Gypsy Fox's channel. Like, you guys need to think, man. For conspiracy theorists, a lot of you are come across as pretty slow, to be honest. I expected you to be a little bit further along for eclipse season. Illuminated. I thought I was seeing signs that some of you were somewhat awake. I'm not sure what the deal is. I said before, if you're leaving likes and trying to leave comments and they're being deleted, try to let me know that's the case. Only one person has done that. And so it might be possible that I'm hallucinating this and you're not here and I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming, I'm kicking out lots of kick-ass content that God's cool with, that the angels are cool with, because, folks, I wrote like Paul Revere today. You can tell. For the first time in 9 years, I let the beast out, and I megaphoned. And for people to not be receptive to what I'm saying is alarming. Anyway, I left when I realized this black woman was becoming angry and basically profiling me. And I asked for her name and I left. And then I asked another black woman if she recommended the hospital or another. And then I'm dealing with another black person who's like, oh, this is great. I love my slavery. Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, because you're black and they're black. And you fail to see, like a lot of white folk, and you black and white folk, you like to criticize each other a lot, but you also love each other a lot also, and you don't admit that you prefer each other, white and black, compared to other ethnicities. You see someone that doesn't look white or black and you play that foreigner card, they're less American than you. Bullshit, without giving an answer. It passed after everything I fucking tried to do with you in the Eli Richies of the world. Okay? No, dude, you think I'm impressed? Unless you're in the hospital and you're really hurting right now, I think you judged me. I came back to the internet after 3 years of going through fucking hell. 3 years of coming to Christ. 3 years of asking God to heal me. Even if I don't feel friggin' healed. For months I said to myself, I am healed. I'm not a victim. I will rise again. And I said it with belief before I believed it. You understand what I'm saying? I said it with conviction and belief before I believed it. I will rise again. I am not a victim. I will reach 1 million people. And boom, I'm on Coast to Coast AM. Now, if I reach 1 million people and it's documented, and we're in a simulation, but you really are here. And others really are here. Let me tell you. It's not looking good when I go on national radio and I accurately predict a false flag and 12 hours later it happens. Only Patrick sends me emails with news updates about the eclipses. So many of you only email me to get me to talk to you to BAM! Fire! On my energy. And it's fine if that's what you're about, if you need that direct one-on-one. But there is a role, folks, for counselors and healers and exorcists. And you know I've got that gift within me. So treat me then like the man that I am. A man who is a healer. Admit it. You're coming to me because I'm a healer. Then go ahead and tell others. This guy, Alex Ansary, is a fucking healer. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to heal you specifically, but I can heal psychosis. I can heal schizophrenia. I can heal these things. And by encouraging you to talk about your abuse, mom, dad, amen, at the hands of racist, white, and black Portlanders. Amen. Here's my commandment to the amen. But you probably unsubscribed by now, didn't you? Before you die, write an anonymous blog about the unconscious actions that you experienced in Portland, Oregon. And without naming names, call out those attitudes and archetypes that you feel led you astray. Am I asking for much, amen? Or are you mad at me? Okay. We already had this talk about tell me everything you know about, you know. And if you want to speculate, speculate, but try to give us some tips on how to fix this corrupt society, since you know so much about the corruption itself. Yeah, not that I'm an Andrew Dice Clay fan, but you got to admit that punch scene wasn't bad, as well as some of the flips. So when I say that they look like they were doing cocaine on Brain Smasher, I'm talking about aspects of the editing, that the fighting ability of the Asian actors martial artists was not displayed as deeply as it could. Right? So I hope that you're learning something from this. So I went and I got this lady's info, and then I left, and then the other lady's leaving, and then I say, as I leave, you know, this place is pretty racist. And when I leave, I'll tell you things that will blow your top. And you'll be more on my side then than you are now. When that day comes, you'll know things then that you don't know now. Just as it took years for me to tell you about Bagosa. There's a day that's going to come where I'm going to be giving full disclosure to this environment, and I'm going to wake up this environment with your help. And folks, this is a big one. Fuck it. If I was to treat this community directly, like, the amount of souls that we could reach is pretty fucking high. The problem is, to reach the souls that are awake, you got to go through a 100-to-1 demonic possessed ratio. Maybe even 1,000 or 10,000 to 1 humans. So, the vast majority of people here in my environment are possessed by Satan, but because God is in control, they are not authorized at present to harm me. But keep in mind, at any point, God could revoke our earth status and call us home. Keep that in mind. When I megaphoned the parties, I drove and ran. And I ran. And I ran so far away. Let me just wrap things up. I want to bring you a big video tomorrow, but it's time for me to eat breakfast. And it's 2:18 Pacific time, 18. That's 5:18 Eastern time in the evening. I haven't had one bite of food. I have had 2 cups of coffee this big. I fell on my hand doing circular motion like a ninja, trying to impress my skateboarding viewers that have been there with me since the beginning, and I had literally video evidence of me falling on my ass. And so I go back to this hospital. Last time I was at the hospital, I was taking the wacky-tacky drugs. Oh, take this, get off marijuana, take this. Man, I should have looked that shit up, man. Fuck yourself up. Couldn't stop pissing. Blurry vision, heart pain, no libido, bro. And that sucks when you haven't released energy in straight 3 or 4 months. Or when you do, it's like, you know, forget it. Just forget about it. Forget about it. Anyway. Thou shalt not tamper, even if you're single, with the natural gift that God gave you. Once you start to mess with your Gulliver to become less psychic, even of your haters, what, you don't want to feel them coming when they come? Oh yeah, keep them taking them drugs. Oh, you don't want to feel sexual anymore? Here, take this. You won't feel sexual feelings. Oh, here, you don't want to cry? Here, take this. I'll tell you what, when I started crying again, it felt ecstatic, like, yes, oh, I can cry again. Oh, just, folks, stop looking down upon people that are not yet cyborgs. To cry is to have feelings. When you cry, when you fear for the future and you come to God. That's not something to look down upon. So, when I got in my car and I got out, knowing they're going to come for my license plate number to stalk me and threaten me, I take off. I pull out the megaphone, which I already used, and I basically say, I'm a follower of Christ. You have no right to profile me. I'll call out your white supremacy and your black supremacy. Yeah, you're black. You profiled me. And then she turned her ass around, wearing her angry red shirt. That black woman turned her black supremacist ass around because she's thinking she's the ultimate victim, and I'm some dude who seems high energy, who's just asking her, what do you think about, she's hearing the power in my voice, and she's feeling the auric energy, and she's retaliating immediately without realizing what she's doing, because her demon is in control because of the eclipse energies. Ansary was right. We are going to be looking at the murder rate in the coming days. How many of you are going to be unsubscribed by AI in the coming days and not even realize it? I told you, I told you. You got to bookmark my websites and enter your email to alexansary.substack.com.